Trump was able to make bond in the New York fraud case for $175 million. But now it looks like the actual bond company may not be qualified to give him that bond. So what happened here? Yeah, not so fast. Donald, it looks like AG Tish James may be able to begin seizing his property yet. But it's an open question. So what happened is, this 80-year-old billionaire, Don Hankey is his name, head of the Hankey Group. I don't know if he has a partner named Panky, but Hanky Panky seems like it might be appropriate given what we're learning. So he is the person who is providing the bond, or the shitty, he's insuring the $175 million for Donald Trump. Well, turns out he's not authorized or licensed to post chitty bonds in New York. Right, of course, Donald Trump is doing business with somebody who's not really authorized to engage in the kind of business he's trying to engage in. So AG James has filed what's called a notice of exception. She's lodging her disagreement or taking exception with the shitty bond that's been posted, and she is requesting more information. For example, does this Hankey Group, the name of the company is technically Knight Specialty, and Don Hankey, reportedly, is a billionaire, courtesy of, among other things, being involved in subprime loans that are given on cars at very high interest rates, and then he apparently was repossessing as many as 250 cars a day at one point. Sounds like that's how he came into a good bit of his fortune, yeah? In other words, the exact kind of person you would imagine Trump getting into business with exactly. So AG James has requested more information. She's filed a notice of exception, and Judge Engeron has set a hearing on this issue on April 22nd, and it looks like at that time Don Hankey may be required to disclose information about things like whether he has sufficient cash on hand to cover the $175 million bond that he has issued. And also, if he doesn't have the cash on hand, what kind of collateral might he be accepting from Donald Trump to secure this bond? So it sounds like come April 22nd, we're going to begin to get some more information about the nature of this bond and whether it's something that's actually acceptable to both AG James, because she's protecting the pecuniary interest of the people of New York. She wants to make sure that, the state of New York is able to collect on the judgment that was issued against Donald Trump, and whether Judge Engeron approves this bond arrangement. Glenn, does the court have the ability to have the insurance company prove that they have the means to cover Trump if he loses the appeal? It's a really interesting area of the law. There's not a lot of precedent on this issue. This is not the kind of thing that gets appealed, and then appellate courts are resolving these kind of issues and filing opinions that become precedent that everybody can follow. But there are a lot of sort of experts in this specialty in the area of bonds that have to be posted for large money judgments in civil cases. I am not an expert in that area, Brian. But I was trying to read up and learn as much as I can. One of the experts in this field said that ordinarily, if a company is going to issue a bond, they should only issue a bond for about 10% of the surplus cash they have on hand. So the next logical question is, Hankey's company, how much surplus cash does it have on hand? Well, according to some of the most recent reporting, Knight Specialty Hankey Company has about $138 million cash on hand. I'm no mathematician, but 10% of that would be about $13 or $4 million. And yet they've issued a bond for what, $175 million doesn't sound like best practices to me. So yes, I think all of this will be fair game for Tish James to inquire about, for Judge Engeron to then hold this hearing, perhaps ask for sworn testimony from this Don Hankey or whoever it is that, can provide information about whether this company is sufficiently solvent, sufficiently liquid, that it can responsibly and appropriately issue this bond to Donald Trump. Okay, well, first of all, if the reporting is correct and they're liquid to the tune of about $140 million, then they would be staking their entire business on Donald Trump and still wouldn't be able to cover the entire cost of the bond. So if it turns out that Knight's specialty insurance company is not solid enough to cover the losses, if Donald Trump loses appeal, what would happen next? Uncharted waters. But I can give it my best guess. So remember how, the appellate court just sort of gratuitously out of thin air reduced the amount that Donald Trump had to put up from $464 million, almost $500 million, to $175 million, without explanation, without authority, and without analysis. I think justice is still licking its wounds from that one, and they extended by 10 days.